responsible for those initial plans and grant writing, and that is Brooke Stevenson, who is our Santa Maria District Food Service Director. Then we have Pete Flores, who's the Director of Student Services. Kristen Criswell, she's an awesome advisor. She also owns a kiwi farm. And then myself, Jenna Miller with Capslo, and Kimberly with Capslo as well. Next slide. Okay, so the whole premise around USDA, the Farm to School plan, is to increase access to local healthy food. There are three main pillars for doing so, which include agriculture, education, school gardens, and school meals. Next slide. So this is a one-year planning grant, and so we've been meeting from July of last year until June of this year. So far we've made our way through 2 phases, and we have a total of 4 phases. So in phase 1, that's where we really did a lot of research and conducted many interviews and tried to get a pulse on the farm to school landscape as it currently stands. And then in phase 2, we started to ask people, okay, so this is the feedback that we've heard. This is how we understand farm to school. Can you create some solutions? What kind of ideas do you have to create more farm to school activities in the Santa Maria area? And then in phase 3, which is where we are now, we're going to take those ideas and we're going to see how feasible are these ideas, and let's test and model some of these ideas. And that's where we stand now. And then in phase 4, which will end in June of this year, we want to really pitch these ideas and share them with the community. And we want to garner support for a lot of these ideas that we're putting together in this initial planning phase. So that might mean presenting at the school board meeting. It might mean putting our plan together so that we can apply for more funding, including the USDA implementation grant that will be available next December. Next slide. So we conducted hundreds of interviews and surveys. We heard back from students, we heard back from food service workers, teachers, local farmers. We characterized all that feedback into 4 different personas, as you see on the screen. Because of time, I'm not going to share everyone's feedback, but basically we heard from students that they love when food is culturally relevant. They love when it tastes healthy and when it's fresh. And then we heard from food service workers that they find value in serving healthy food on campus, and they love when they get to work with student workers. But oftentimes it can be a challenge to produce all of this food and meet requirements. We heard from teachers, they want to teach students about ag in their curriculum, or they want to support school gardens, but there's challenges with doing that because of their already heavy requirements for covering different topics in their curriculum, or it's a lot of work to carry on a school garden. We also heard from local farmers that I hear little puppies. And we also heard, that's okay. We also heard from local farmers that they are passionate and they have an abundance of fresh fruits and vegetables or produce, but it can be challenging to supply this type of food to schools, whether it's because of packaging, transportation issues, etc., or just making that connection. Next slide. So from all of this feedback, we developed 3 main questions that we hope to address in this plan. So those 3 main questions pertain to school food, they pertain to school gardens, they pertain to agriculture education. So we phrased these questions as 3 how might we questions. So 1, how might we increase access to a variety of foods that meet nutrition guidelines, as well as student dietary needs, student preferences, and student culture? And then the other question related to school gardens, how might we ensure adequate support to develop, increase access, and even sustain school gardens? And then the third question is, how might we connect more students to agriculture education and resources like school gardens and the Career Technical Education Center, the CTE Center, which we have Paul on this call, and he said that we might be able to schedule a tour of the Santa Maria CTE Center, which is awesome. Next slide. just sending a gentle reminder to write down the things that you like, the things that you wish, and the things that you wonder as we present, as we go through this presentation and as you hear information from our guest speakers. Next, we'll have Kimberly share some of the feedback that we've heard from students so far.
Hello, everyone. So in our last meeting, we were using a tool called Draw Your Ideas, and we've been using human-centered design as a way to gather feedback from the end users, so the students, the teachers, the farm workers that are going to be interacting with this farm to school plan. And in our last meeting, these are some of the examples of ideas that we got. So in the drawing that has the red box, you can see that one of the participants shared that students would work with food service workers and collaborate on the school menu. And they would use produce that was either from a farm or maybe the school garden and create a menu that students would then actually enjoy eating. Some other examples are maybe inviting a local chef and having the chef prepare a meal, and then students would evaluate their preference on those meals. We've also had other examples where there's a school farm, there's animals, students are actively participating with the plants and the crops. And so these are all ideas that we've gathered, and we're gonna now enter into the phase where we're gonna see how feasible these ideas are and if they're something that we can incorporate on our farm to school plan. And so next we have a presentation from Paso Robles Housing Authority, who has a program that is called YouthWorks. And YouthWorks has used USDA funding to create a farm. And I will go ahead and pass it over to Bishan so that I don't give too much away when you're ready.
Thank you. Okay. My name's Bishan Webb, and I'm the Director of Community Services for the Paso Robles Housing Authority, which is an affordable housing complex on the north end of Paso Robles. And the community itself is called Oak Park. With me today is Brandy Valencia, who is one of our community service coordinators. And Brandy was one of our original teens that started YouthWorks at Oak Park. She worked with us for years, graduated high school, went on to other things. And we have asked her to come back several times to help us actually run our programs. And she came back at the beginning of the pandemic because we just really needed we needed her skills and gifts. YouthWorks is the youth development program at the Paso Robles Housing Authority that we started about 10 years ago. And our focus is to teach job skills and to prepare students for the working world. So we start with middle school and high school students. They don't have to live at Oak Park. They come from all over Paso Robles and even North County. We have several come down from San Miguel. We provide both explicit job skills training, but also paid work experience. And the students come 5 days a week. They work about an hour to an hour and a half in the farm. We have other things that they do. In order to run a meaningful work or job skills program, you have to have meaningful work for the teens to do. And so the farm has been a really important project of YouthWorks that we've had for a number of years. We are currently in our 5th location. It's moved around Oak Park as construction has taken place, but we hope we're in our last location. It's in actually the middle of the complex. We have almost 1,000 people living there in about almost 400 units. And so they see the teens working, they see the farm, and they benefit from the produce. If you're 14 and older, you earn minimum wage. If you're younger than that, you can't get a work permit. And so we give gift cards and community service credits. But the students do all the work. Last year, actually, we should probably switch slides. Yeah, so 2 years ago, we grew 1,500 pounds of produce. And this last year in the pandemic, we actually grew 2,000 pounds. And the produce goes out to any of our local families, and it's free. And so the students are doing they build the boxes, they amend the soil, they install drip irrigation, they plant, they weed, they water, they harvest, and then we weigh all the produce so they get some math skills. And then they take it around to and go door to door. So they're getting customer service experience as well. Our USDA grant came through a food coalition that the food bank put together. And there were about, 15 groups maybe that all had a certain piece of the grant that they had to complete. And we were charged at the time, we had 7 raised beds that we had already built and were working. And so our part of the grant was to add 3 more raised beds for a total of 10. We actually ended up with 18. And so we have the raised beds, and then we also have pots, and we also have plants in the ground. So we have horrible soil, but we have amended the soil as well in the ground. So we've more than accomplished what we were supposed to do with the grant. It was a 4-year grant. It ended last August, and USDA has gone on to other priorities. So the grant was not, we couldn't even reapply, but it sounds like some of the priorities are ones that include what you all are doing, which is wonderful. We do have a volunteer mentor who's actually Brandy's father, and he has years of farming experience, both personal and professional. And so he's been wonderful, and he mentors the students as well as guides them through the farming process. But the teens are outside in the fresh air. They've worked all through the pandemic. They get their hands in the dirt, so they know what it feels like to farm. They're earning money. They're learning how to feed themselves. They're learning where fresh produce comes from and that it tastes better than store-bought a lot of times. And then they're also learning to show up on time, work the entire shift, work as a team. And through it all, they're getting mentored by Brandy's dad, who's just a very wonderful, caring adult. I have a couple concerns in life. And one is that we are not, the diversity of our farming community. I know a lot of our field workers are obviously Latino, but we need more of our farmers to be either Latino or African Americans. And so I'm trying to work with the local food groups to make a difference there, because I think it's really important, but we're just sort of feeling our way. And so as you all go forward, hopefully it sounds like one of your goals is to work with the students to think more about farming as a career, as opposed to the backbreaking work and as field work, as just the lower rung field workers, entry-level field workers. My other concern is healthy eating, which it sounds like you're also addressing. I know a lot of our families, they want to eat what they're used to. And we haven't yet figured out, whether through the food bank or other projects that people have brought to us, we have yet to figure out how to present healthier food in ways that become attractive in habits to families. And so I don't know, Brandy, if you have something to add to any of this.
No, I think you did really good, Mission, and really nice because this year we're planning on having a lot more things, a lot of tomatoes, tomatillos, onions, cilantro, red chili, zucchini, cucumbers, melons, watermelons, beets, and it's really good produce. Every time we have residents asking us if it's time yet, can they have a bag, and it's really nice to see the teens working hands-on at the farm. So yeah.
So I guess that's our presentation, but we're happy to take any questions.
I think it's great, especially the job experience that the students are able to be mentored and have hands-on. I just shared in the chat regarding I used a local chef to help come in to my PE program with our school garden. And that's how we presented ideas for the kids to take home to families.
And have you checked with the kids to see whether those are actually incorporated?
You know what? I had done that. I taught in Marietta Valley Unified School District. So that's been 7 years now. But at the time when I was a PE teacher. And when I did that, there was a lot of positive feedback. So it did resonate to go back home.
Good. I asked one of our students, the food bank is concerned about making sure that the produce that we hand out and that they hand out is produce that our families would like to eat. And so they asked me about sweet potatoes. So I went back to just one of our teens and said, does your family eat sweet potatoes at all? And she said, no, we never have. But if you gave them to us, we'd eat them. We would fry them.
Right.
And that's not actually what I was hoping for. So.
Well, I think baby steps, right? I mean, introducing that there's different carrots, and then getting teachers and getting administration to taste it as well has helped in buy-in when I was down in Goleta. So inviting staff and the principal to try the different fruits and vegetables, and working with the district nutritionalist is very key, I think.
Okay.
Great, thank you. This discussion has been really great and helpful. Next, we are going to have a presentation from SEAG. It stands for Students for Eco-Education and Agriculture, which is a local nonprofit in Ventura County. And so I'm going to pass it over to Emily so that she can tell us a little bit more about SEAG and what they do. And so I'll go ahead and stop sharing my screen, and then Emily, you can go ahead and share yours.
Hey, Kimberly, can I ask one question before we move away from that?
Yes.
How big was that farm acre-wise, Ms. Webb, in Paso, just out of curiosity?
Oh, small. I mean, it barely holds 18 boxes that are 6 by 5 by 6, maybe.
Okay.
We took a small part of a soccer field that was in the middle of Oak Park that really wasn't being used very much. It's an enormous soccer football field, and the students barely use it. And so we just took a small corner of it.
Got it. All right. Thank you.
All right, let me share my screen. All right, so my name is Emily, and I am the STEAM Program Coordinator with SEAG, which stands for Students for Eco-Education and Agriculture. Thank you so much for having me. Our mission is to educate students in the greater community about the farm origins of our food and agriculture's contribution to our nutritional well-being. And the way we do that is really through our free agricultural and nutrition education programs, such as Farm Lab, STEAM, Career Pathways in Agriculture, our Child Wellness Initiatives, and Farm Day. So I'm going to talk a little bit about each of these programs. Our Farm Lab program is geared towards third grade students with a mission to build awareness of and appreciation for agriculture from farm to consumption through hands-on experiential learning with an emphasis on soil science, plant science, water cycles, and entomology via classroom and field trip presentations. So in Ventura County, we actually offer free field trips for our 3rd grade students, bringing them out to our partner location, Petty Ranch in Satakoy, where they experience hands-on activities and stations, all centered upon agricultural science concepts such as plant science, water science, insect science, and those sorts of things. Currently, since due to COVID restrictions, we are offering this program online via Zoom to 3rd grade students in Ventura County and Santa Barbara County. Our Child Wellness Initiative's mission is to educate, inspire, and empower elementary school students to increase their consumption of fresh fruits and vegetables and to cultivate connections between students and the farmland surrounding them. So with our Child Wellness Initiative, we actually go out to local schools, bringing our Farm Fresh mobile classroom van and give assembly style presentations to students where they learn about the food rainbow and participate in activities such as the activity featured here, our MasterChef Junior competition, where they actually create healthy snacks, usually using locally grown crops. Also, every student walks away with a pound of fresh, locally grown produce that is donated to our organization. And then they also receive nutrition resources and recipe cards on how to make those locally grown crops at home and incorporate them with their families. Currently, due to COVID restrictions, again, this modified version we are offering online via Zoom to 3rd grade students in Ventura and Santa Barbara counties. We also have our Farm Day event, which is actually our organization's largest event and probably our most recognizable. So this is an annual event that happens in the fall. In Ventura County, we created this event in 2013. And today we see over 20 different farms, ranches, agricultural organizations open their doors to the public for a day of free tours and activities. So in Ventura County, we offer this in November and see about 5,000 visitors a year. And we actually just hosted our first Santa Barbara County Farm Day in 2019. We had over 13 different farms, ranches, and organizations in the Santa Maria Valley have tours for guests, and we saw about 1,000 visitors. So we're really looking forward to expanding those numbers as more and more people learn about this event and as we expand into Santa Barbara County. So please save the date because our 3rd annual Santa Barbara County Farm Day will be taking place on September 18th. And last but certainly not least, we have our STEAM Career Pathways in Agriculture program. And this is a middle and high school program that I actually oversee. So it consists of an in-class presentation where we cover a background in local agriculture, but really focused on the different types of careers that exist in the industry, especially in 21st century agriculture. So our whole focus with this program is really to expand students' perception of what it means to work in agriculture today. And we do that through an in-class presentation. It's around 60 minutes. And right now we are offering this online via Zoom to our Ventura County students. And this is really our last program that we're going to be expanding into Santa Barbara County. And we hope to be offering this to your local high schools starting next fall. So with our Farm Lab program and our Child Wellness Initiative for our 3rd grade students, we are currently seeing these school districts within the Santa Maria Valley. And we are really hoping to expand this, especially with our middle and high school program, this STEAM program. And then I also wanted to mention that we are having a fundraising event. We're doing a live online auction next week in celebration of National Ag Day. And really the focus of this event is to hopefully raise enough funding to actually purchase a second Farm Fresh mobile classroom van. So the van that I mentioned for our Child Wellness Initiative that we have currently in Ventura County, we are hoping to raise enough funding to purchase a second van to have specifically for Santa Barbara County. So definitely please check that out if you can. And I'd be happy to take any questions.
I'm interested in your STEAM curriculum. You know, in San Luis Obispo County, is there any hope that there could be some overlap in here?
Yes, so we would eventually like to expand into San Luis Obispo County, but since our STEAM program in particular consists of just a presentation at this point in time, I think it's definitely likely that we could really have a presentation available for the San Luis Obispo County students Then of course, right now we're focusing on getting our Santa Barbara County presentation up. And really that's just so that we can have locally relevant resources in that presentation. So for Santa Barbara County, we of course want to feature local Santa Barbara County agriculture. We want to do spotlights with Santa Barbara County agricultural professionals. And I think that definitely could be replicated for San Luis Obispo County. So yes, we're definitely open to that.
Cool.
And also, I just want to note that our presentation is online right now. So if you wanted to check out our Ventura County version, that's online at our program site, seag.org/D.
Oh, good. Thank you.
Thank you, Emily. If you don't mind, maybe sharing the link to your website in the chat. And I know that you also mentioned having a presentation for the Ventura. And if you have maybe the link, you can share that in the chat as well. And are there any questions or any comments that at this point before moving on? All right. So next, we just wanted to highlight some of our raffle winners. In the past, we have hosted 2 raffles, and so these are our bike winners. So from students that have participated in either our surveys or interviews, providing feedback for the Farm to School. And our most recent winner is this drawing right here from our Draw Your Ideas activity. We selected a random winner, and so the winner has been contacted and we will coordinate their date for their bike. All right. And so before we move on, I'm going to activate the I like, I wish, I wonder question on Poll Everywhere. There we go. And so I'm going to drop the link in the chat and you can log into Poll Everywhere. You can always skip the registration part and you can enter as anonymous. And then once you're there, you can enter your comments for this presentation in the format of I like, I wish, I wonder. And you can do this right now. And then I can continue on with what's on the horizon. So save the date for our next stakeholder meeting. That's going to be April 15th on Thursday at 5:30. So that's 5:30 to 6:30. 5:30 to 6:15 p.m. and that is in Spanish. And then there's another meeting, which would be the same exact meeting on Friday, April 16th, and that would be from 11:30 to 12:15, and that would be in English. And we're still looking for guest speakers. So once we have them finalized, you'll receive an email with more information of who will be our guest speakers. And so today we learned about 2 great programs that can serve as model programs, and we can take their ideas and maybe incorporate them into our Farm to School program for the Santa Maria Joint Union High School District. And so you can find the link for those meetings in the chat. You can also connect with us online. So you can follow us on Facebook or Instagram, or you can contact us directly. So Jenna's email is on the screen and so is mine, or you can always just call us. Either option works. And so again, take some time right now to provide your feedback. So in the format of I like, I wish, I wonder, and we're using Poll Everywhere.
Kimberly, I'm not sure if there it is, needs to be active.
Sorry about that.
Thank you.
You can all feel free to even unmute or turn on your mics if you'd like to share feedback in that format as well. Thank you all for your feedback. We won't answer any of your feedback right now. What we will do is take this feedback, and as we continue to develop the farm to school plan, we will take this into account and just update you as we continue with our development of the farm to school program. Alrighty, so thank you all for your presence today. This pretty much wraps up our meeting for today. And again, I hope to see you all at our next meeting in April. And we will be contacting some of you directly because we might need some of your volunteer hours.